My wife Jessica, 29F, and I, 31M, have been married for 4 years. She's always been into fitness. We actually met at a rock climbing gym. But over the past 6 months, she's become completely obsessed with working out to the point where it's taking over our entire lifestyle. It started innocently enough. Jessica decided she wanted to compete in a fitness competition and hired a trainer. I was supportive because she seemed really excited about having a goal to work toward. But then things started getting weird. Jessica began waking up at 4 a.m. to work out before her regular 6 p.m. gym session. She said she needed to do cardio in the morning and weights at night for optimal results. I thought it was a bit much, but figured it was temporary for the competition. The competition was supposed to be in March. It's now September, and she's signed up for 3 more competitions next year. Jessica has turned our garage into a home gym with thousands of dollars worth of equipment. We have a squat rack, dumbbells, resistance bands, a rowing machine, and some contraption that looks like medieval torture equipment. She works out in the garage for 2 hours every morning, then goes to the actual gym for another 2 hours every evening. That's 4 hours of working out every single day. Our kitchen looks like a supplement store exploded. There are protein powders, pre-workout drinks, creatine, BCAAs, and about 20 other supplements I can't even pronounce. Jessica has labeled everything in our refrigerator with the exact macronutrient content. She weighs her food on a digital scale and logs everything in an app. She freaked out last week because I ate one of her apples that was apparently allocated for her post-workout snack. She meal preps every Sunday for the entire week. Our fridge is full of identical containers with chicken, rice, and vegetables portioned to the exact gram. She won't eat anything that isn't in her meal plan. Last month, we went to her sister's birthday dinner, and Jessica brought her own food in a cooler. She sat at the restaurant eating Tupperware chicken while everyone else had pizza and cake. It was mortifying. Jessica has become obsessed with her body fat percentage and weighs herself 3 times a day. She has this device that supposedly measures muscle mass, and she takes progress photos every morning. She's covered our bathroom mirror with before and after photos of fitness competitors and has written motivational quotes in dry erase marker on the glass. I can't brush my teeth without reading "No pain and no gain" in bright pink letters. The worst part is that Jessica's personality has completely changed. She used to be fun and spontaneous, but now everything revolves around her workout schedule and nutrition plan. We can't make any social plans because she won't go anywhere that might interfere with her gym time. We miss my brother's wedding reception because it conflicted with her leg day. Jessica talks about working out constantly. Every conversation somehow turns into her explaining her new training split or ranting about someone at the gym who is using equipment wrong. She's joined about 15 different fitness Facebook groups and spends hours commenting on posts about protein timing and optimal rep ranges. She shows me memes about gym life that I don't understand and aren't funny. Jessica has started wearing workout clothes everywhere, even to places like the grocery store and church. She says regular clothes are restrictive and she needs to be ready for a workout at any moment. She bought a gym bag that's bigger than most suitcases and brings it everywhere. It's filled with protein shakes, towels, lifting gloves, resistance bands, and what looks like a small pharmacy of supplements. Last week, Jessica suggested we spend our anniversary at a fitness expo instead of the romantic weekend I had planned. When I said no, she asked if we could at least go to a different hotel that had a better gym. She started critiquing my eating habits and suggesting I join her at the gym. She says I'm letting myself go and that she's worried about my health. I'm 6 feet 2 inches and weigh 180 pounds. I'm not exactly obese. Jessica has befriended this group of bodybuilders at her gym, and now she talks about them like they're celebrities. She's constantly quoting things Big Mike or Shredded Steve said about training techniques. She started following a bunch of fitness influencers on Instagram and TikTok. She shows me videos of people doing extreme workouts and says things like goals, and that's going to be me next year. The most concerning thing is that Jessica seems to think everyone else is lazy if they don't share her obsession. She makes comments about coworkers who eat junk food and judges people at restaurants for their food choices. She tried to get our friends to join her gym and acts confused when they're not interested in her detailed explanations of different training methods. Most of them have stopped inviting us to things because Jessica always tries to turn everything into a fitness discussion. I tried talking to Jessica about finding more balance, but she says I don't understand her goals and that I'm not being supportive of her dreams. She tells me that fitness competitors have to be dedicated and that most people don't have the discipline to achieve what she's working toward. She says I should be proud of her commitment instead of complaining about it. The thing is, I was proud of her at first, but now it feels like I'm married to a fitness robot instead of the woman I fell in love with. Jessica's entire identity has become about working out and competing. She doesn't seem to have any interest in anything else anymore, including our relationship. I miss the woman who used to want to try new restaurants and go on random adventures. Now she won't even watch a movie because it takes time away from her recovery, and she needs to be in bed by 9 p.m. I'm starting to feel like I'm living with a stranger. Is this normal for people who get into competitive fitness? Will she ever go back to being the person she was before? I love Jessica, and I want to be supportive, but I also miss having a wife who cares about something other than her macros and her next workout. How do I talk to her about this without sounding like I'm trying to sabotage her goals? I saw my wife back. Update. 2 weeks later. Thanks for all the responses. Some of you were really harsh, but I needed to hear it. A few people asked for an update, so here it is. Things have gotten so much worse since my original post. Jessica's behavior has escalated to the point where I'm genuinely worried about her mental health. Last week, Jessica decided that our house wasn't optimized for her fitness goals. She spent the entire weekend rearranging our furniture to create more space for stretching and foam rolling. She moved our couch and coffee table into the basement and replaced them with yoga mats and foam rollers. Our living room now looks like a physical therapy clinic instead of a place where people actually live. Jessica has started doing active recovery sessions in the living room while I'm trying to watch TV. She'll be doing leg swings and hip circles right in front of the screen while explaining why static stretching is inferior to dynamic movement. She's also decided that our bed is too soft and is affecting her recovery. Jessica ordered some kind of firm mattress that feels like sleeping on concrete. She says it's better for spinal alignment. The mattress came with a pillow that's basically a brick covered in fabric. I wake up every morning feeling like I got hit by a truck, but Jessica says I just need to adjust to proper sleep posture. Jessica has started setting alarms throughout the night to drink protein shakes. She wakes up at 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. to have what she calls nighttime nutrition. The blender wakes me up every single time. She's convinced that eating protein every 3 hours is crucial for muscle growth, even while sleeping. When I complained about being woken up, she suggested I wear earplugs because her gains were more important than my comfort. The supplement situation has gotten completely out of control. Jessica has started ordering things from websites that look sketchy and probably aren't legal. She has powders and pills that she won't even tell me what they're for. She's created a spreadsheet to track when she takes each supplement and has set dozens of phone alarms throughout the day. She'll interrupt conversations to take her 3:30 p.m. creatine or whatever the hell she's consuming. Jessica has started wearing a fitness tracker that monitors her heart rate, sleep, steps, and probably her brain waves. She checks it obsessively and panics if her numbers aren't optimal. She scheduled a meeting with me last Sunday to discuss my fitness goals and how I could better support her lifestyle. She had a literal PowerPoint presentation about the benefits of us training together. I told Jessica that I didn't want to become as obsessed with fitness as she was, and she said that was a limiting mindset and that I was afraid of reaching my potential. She started leaving fitness articles on my pillow and sending me motivational videos throughout the day. She says she's trying to educate me about the importance of health and fitness. The worst part is that Jessica has started policing what I eat. She'll make comments about my lunch choices and suggest healthier alternatives that are basically cardboard with protein powder. She threw away all the junk food in our house, including things like crackers and pasta that normal people eat. She replaced everything with rice cakes, protein bars, and vegetables that taste like sadness. Jessica has started cooking all our meals and won't let me eat anything that isn't part of her meal plan. She says she's optimizing our nutrition, but I feel like I'm in some kind of fitness prison. I tried to order pizza last weekend, and Jessica had a complete meltdown. She said I was sabotaging her progress and that she couldn't be around trigger foods. She made me eat the pizza in the garage while she stayed inside doing mobility work. She said the smell of cheese was making her crave unhealthy foods. Jessica's social media has become completely unhinged. She posts gym selfies every day with captions about grinding and pushing through barriers. She started using hashtags like #fitnessaddict and #noexcuses. She's also started posting before and after photos of her meals and workout videos where she's grunting and making faces that look like she's in physical pain. The comments on her posts are all from other fitness-obsessed people who use words like beast mode and shredded. It's like she's joined some kind of cult. I've tried talking to Jessica about finding balance, but she says I don't understand what it takes to be a champion. She says most people are average because they're not willing to make sacrifices. She started talking about fitness like it's a religion, and she's been chosen for some kind of special purpose. She says she's inspiring others, and that her dedication is changing lives. I showed Jessica some of the comments from my original post about her behavior being extreme, and she said Reddit users are jealous and making excuses for their own lack of discipline. I'm at the point where I don't know what to do. Jessica used to be a normal person who enjoyed life, and now she's become this fitness fanatic who can't function without her workout scheduled. I miss my wife, but I'm not sure she exists anymore. This person living in my house is a stranger who happens to look like the woman I married. Update 2. 1 month later. I wasn't going to post again, but Jessica's behavior has become so extreme that I needed to share this with someone. I think my wife might be having a complete mental breakdown. 2 weeks ago, Jessica decided that our house had too many toxins and was interfering with her recovery. She spent $3,000 on an air purification system and has been opening all the windows at night because she read that fresh air helps with muscle repair. It's been 40 degrees outside, and our heating bill is going to be insane, but Jessica says that temperature regulation is good for building mental toughness. She's also convinced that our tap water is contaminated and has been driving 45 minutes to a natural spring to collect water in gallon jugs. She does this 3 times a week, and our garage is full of water containers. Jessica has started following this online fitness guru who promotes something called ancestral living. She's trying to replicate the lifestyle of cavemen because apparently that's the key to optimal health. She started doing primal movement exercises in our backyard that involve crawling around on all fours and climbing trees. Our neighbors have been staring over the fence, watching her army crawl across our lawn. Jessica has also started eating only grass-fed beef and organic vegetables. She drives to 3 different stores to find ingredients that meet her standards and spends about $300 a week on groceries. She's convinced that regular food is poisoning her body and has started testing everything with some kind of device that supposedly measures toxicity levels. The scariest part is that Jessica has started doing these detox protocols that involve fasting for days and drinking only lemon water and cayenne pepper. She says she's cleansing her system. She's lost so much weight that her clothes don't fit anymore, but she says she's optimizing her body composition. She looks gaunt and exhausted, but insists she's never felt better. Jessica has started sleeping on the floor because she read that beds are unnatural and that our ancestors slept on hard surfaces. She made a bed out of blankets in the corner of our room and says it's improving her posture. She's also started waking up at 3 a.m. to do sunrise meditation and won't use any artificial lights after 8 p.m. She says electric lighting disrupts natural circadian rhythms. Our house is now lit with candles after sunset, which would be romantic if Jessica wasn't using the time to do breathing exercises and write in her gratitude journal about her fitness progress. She started taking ice baths in our bathtub every morning because some Instagram influencer said cold exposure builds resilience. She sits in freezing water for 20 minutes while hyperventilating. Jessica has also started doing breathwork sessions where she hyperventilates for an hour while listening to weird music. She says it's releasing toxins from her cellular level. The supplement situation has gotten completely out of control. Jessica is taking about 30 different pills and powders throughout the day. She's organized them into a tackle box and carries it everywhere. She started injecting herself with B12 shots and has ordered some kind of red light therapy device that she sits under for an hour every day. She says it's helping with mitochondrial function. Jessica has become obsessed with tracking every aspect of her biology. She's testing her blood sugar, ketones, and hormone levels daily. She has charts and graphs all over our bedroom wall. She started wearing a continuous glucose monitor, even though she's not diabetic. She checks her blood sugar obsessively and adjusts her food intake based on the readings. The worst part is that Jessica has started talking about her body like it's a science experiment. She refers to herself in third person and says things like the organism needs more protein instead of I'm hungry. She's lost all sense of normal human behavior. Jessica analyzes everything in terms of how it affects her performance metrics and optimization protocols. She started referring to our relationship as a partnership for mutual growth and has suggested that we schedule connection time instead of spontaneous affection. Jessica has also started documenting everything in a journal that she calls her biohacking log. She writes down everything she eats, how she feels, what exercises she does, and even her bowel movements. She shared parts of this journal with her online fitness community, and they encourage her bizarre behavior. They call her dedicated and inspirational, which just reinforces her obsession. I tried to suggest that Jessica might want to talk to a therapist about her behavior, and she said that therapy is for weak-minded people who can't handle the discipline required for excellence. She started reading books about mental toughness and warrior mindset and quotes them constantly. She talks about life like it's a battle that she's fighting against weakness and mediocrity. Jessica has become completely disconnected from normal human emotions. She analyzes everything logically and says that feelings are inefficient and get in the way of achieving goals. I don't know what to do anymore. The woman I married has been replaced by some kind of fitness cyborg who can't relate to normal human experiences. I'm seriously considering leaving because I can't live with someone who has become this obsessed with optimizing every aspect of their existence. Update 3. 2 months later. I need to update this because Jessica's behavior has reached a level that I can only describe as completely insane, and I'm scared for her safety. Last month, Jessica decided that our entire neighborhood was toxic and was interfering with her progress. She started driving 2 hours to a gym in the mountains because she says the air quality is better for her training. She's going to this mountain gym every single day, which means she's spending 4 hours driving plus 3 hours working out. She's basically gone from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day. Jessica has started camping in her car at the gym parking lot instead of driving home some days. She says it's more efficient and allows her to do double training sessions. She's equipped her car with a cooler, sleeping bag, and portable phone charger. She's essentially living in her Toyota Camry 3 days a week because she thinks it's optimizing her training schedule. When I told Jessica that living in her car was insane, she said I was trapped in conventional thinking and that true athletes make sacrifices that normal people don't understand. She started following this extreme fitness influencer who promotes something called Savage Mode living. This guy apparently sleeps in his gym and eats only raw meat and eggs. Jessica has started adopting his philosophies and talking about embracing discomfort and becoming a savage. She started eating raw eggs and doing ice baths in the parking lot of her mountain gym. She's also started doing these mental toughness challenges where she does things like taking cold showers for an hour or holding planks until she physically collapses. Jessica has started posting videos of herself doing these extreme challenges on social media. She's grunting and crying while doing them, but says that suffering builds character. The comments on her posts are either people expressing concern or other fitness fanatics encouraging her to push harder. She only responds to the people telling her to go more extreme. She started wearing a weighted vest everywhere, including to the grocery store and while driving. She says that constant resistance training is helping her build functional strength. Jessica has also started doing equipment-free workouts in random public places. She'll do burpees in parking lots and pull-ups on playground equipment while families are trying to enjoy their day. She's been kicked out of several parks for doing disruptive workouts and has been asked to leave stores for doing stretching routines in the aisles. The scariest part is that Jessica has started talking about her body like it's separate from her mind. She refers to physical pain as weakness leaving the body and says that comfort is the enemy of growth. She started doing workouts that are clearly injuring her, but she says that pain is just data and that pushing through it is building mental resilience. Jessica has stress fractures in both shins from running on concrete every day, but she's continuing to run because she says that warriors don't quit. She's also developed what looks like an eating disorder, but she calls it nutritional optimization. She's eating less than 1,000 calories a day and has lost 40 pounds. Jessica looks skeletal and exhausted, but she says she's cutting to reveal her true physique. She's convinced that being extremely thin is the same as being fit. She started taking pictures of herself flexing in the mirror and comparing them to fitness models who are clearly using steroids. She says she's not lean enough yet and needs to cut more body fat. The most concerning thing is that Jessica has started talking about her transformation like it's a spiritual journey. She says she's becoming her true self and shedding her old identity. She started referring to her previous life as the time before awakening and says that most people are asleep and don't understand what it means to truly live. Jessica has become completely isolated from friends and family. She says they are holding her back and that she needs to surround herself with people who understand her mission. She started spending all her time with this group of extreme fitness people who encourage each other's obsessive behavior. They have a group chat where they share photos of their workouts and meals. They refer to each other as warriors and savages and constantly talk about being better than normal people who don't have their level of dedication. Jessica has started talking about me like I'm an obstacle to her growth. She says I'm comfortable with mediocrity and that I don't understand what it means to pursue excellence. She suggested that I might be holding her back and that she needs to consider whether our relationship is compatible with her goals. I try to get Jessica's family involved, but she's convinced them that I'm jealous of her success and trying to sabotage her fitness journey. She's shown them her transformation photos, and they think she looks great not realizing that she's basically starving herself and exercising compulsively. I'm at the point where I think Jessica needs professional help, but she's convinced that she's never been better and that everyone else is the problem. I don't know how to help someone who thinks their destructive behavior is actually the path to becoming their best self. Update 4. 3 months later. Final update because this situation has reached a conclusion that I never saw coming. Jessica's behavior continued to escalate until she finally did something that forced everyone to see how serious her problem had become. 2 weeks ago, Jessica decided that she needed to do a vision quest to take her fitness journey to the next level. She drove to a national forest and planned to survive in the wilderness for a week with minimal supplies. She posted on social media about embarking on this primal challenge and said she was going to reconnect with her savage nature by living like our ancestors. Jessica brought only a sleeping bag, water bottles, and some kind of survival knife. She said she was going to hunt and forage for food and prove that she could survive on pure mental toughness. She was supposed to come back after 7 days, but when she didn't return, I called the park rangers. They found her after 2 days of searching, and she was in terrible condition. Jessica was severely dehydrated, had infected cuts on her hands from trying to make tools, and had eaten some kind of poisonous berries that made her violently ill. She was rushed to the hospital where they found she was malnourished, had stress fractures in multiple bones, and her body was basically shutting down from months of extreme dieting and overexercise. The doctors said Jessica's body fat percentage was dangerously low and that she had developed something called relative energy deficiency syndrome from undereating and overtraining. She was admitted to the hospital for a week and had to be given 4 fluids and nutrients because her body couldn't process food normally anymore. While Jessica was in the hospital, her family finally saw how extreme her behavior had become. Her sister found her social media posts and her biohacking journal and realized she was having a mental breakdown. Her parents flew in from across the country and were shocked when they saw how much weight she had lost and how obsessed she had become with fitness. Jessica's mom found the tackle box full of supplements and the charts tracking her biological functions. She said it looked like the room of someone who had completely lost touch with reality. The hospital psychiatrist diagnosed Jessica with exercise addiction, orthorexia, and obsessive-compulsive disorder. She said Jessica's behavior was a form of eating disorder disguised as health consciousness. Jessica initially refused to admit she had a problem and said that everyone was jealous of her dedication and afraid of her transformation. She said the hospital was trying to make her weak and that she needed to get back to her training routine or she would lose all her progress. It took several sessions with the psychiatrist and her family for Jessica to finally admit that her behavior had become compulsive and was hurting her health. She's now in an inpatient treatment facility that specializes in eating disorders and exercise addiction. She'll be there for at least 2 months learning to have a healthy relationship with food and exercise. Jessica's treatment team says that her case is fairly severe and that it will take time for her to unlearn the extreme behaviors and thought patterns she developed. They said that exercise addiction often develops in people who use fitness as a way to control anxiety or other underlying mental health issues. Jessica's therapist thinks that her obsession with fitness was actually a way of coping with fear about getting older and feeling like she wasn't accomplishing enough in her life. She's now working on addressing those underlying issues and learning healthier ways to deal with stress and anxiety. I've been going to therapy myself to work through the trauma of watching my wife's personality completely change over the course of several months. The therapist says that living with someone who has an addiction is incredibly difficult and that it's normal for me to feel confused, angry, and helpless. Jessica and I are doing couples therapy via video call while she's in treatment. She started to realize how her behavior affected our relationship and is working on making amends. She's apologized for the way she treated me and acknowledged that she became completely obsessed to the point where she couldn't see how it was hurting everyone around her. Jessica says she remembers feeling like she was trapped in a cycle where she had to keep escalating her behavior to feel like she was making progress. She's learning about the brain chemistry of addiction and how exercise can become addictive in the same way as drugs or alcohol when someone uses it to cope with underlying emotional issues. The treatment facility has Jessica on a structured meal plan and a moderate exercise routine. She's learning to eat normally again and to view exercise as one part of a balanced life instead of the center of her identity. Jessica says the hardest part is dealing with the anxiety she feels when she's not constantly optimizing her fitness routine. She's learning other coping strategies like meditation and journaling. She's also working on rebuilding her sense of self-worth that isn't tied to her physical appearance or athletic performance. Her therapist says this is crucial for long-term recovery. Jessica's family has been really supportive through this process. Her sister has been researching exercise addiction and helping me understand that what happened wasn't Jessica's fault or mine. Her parents have been visiting her in treatment and learning about how to support her recovery without enabling her obsessive behaviors. The treatment team says that Jessica's prognosis is good because she's young and has strong family support, but that recovery from exercise addiction can take years. She'll need to continue outpatient therapy and will probably always have to be careful about not falling back into compulsive exercise patterns. Jessica is scheduled to come home next month, but she'll be continuing intensive outpatient treatment and will have a structured meal plan and exercise routine monitored by her treatment team. We've been working on rebuilding our relationship and learning to communicate better about mental health and stress management. Jessica has expressed genuine remorse for how her behavior affected our marriage and is committed to doing the work necessary to maintain her recovery. I've learned a lot about addiction and mental health through this process. I had no idea that exercise could become as destructive as Jessica's behavior became. Looking back, I could see warning signs that I didn't recognize at the time. Jessica's behavior escalated gradually, and I kept thinking it was just a phase or that she was just really dedicated. I wish I had understood sooner that her obsession with fitness was actually a symptom of deeper mental health issues that needed professional treatment. For anyone reading this who might be dealing with something similar, the warning signs of exercise addiction include working out for hours every day and feeling anxious when unable to exercise, continuing to exercise despite injuries or illness, organizing entire life around workout schedule, becoming socially isolated due to exercise commitments, experiencing mood swings related to exercise routine, continuing to increase exercise intensity even when it's causing problems. Jessica's treatment team emphasizes that fitness can be healthy and positive, but like anything else, it becomes problematic when it starts controlling your life instead of enhancing it. They've taught her about intuitive exercise, where she listens to her body and exercises for enjoyment and health rather than compulsion. Jessica is learning to find other sources of meaning and accomplishment in her life besides physical fitness. She started reading again and has expressed interest in volunteering when she's further in her recovery. The woman I married is starting to come back. Jessica is still passionate about health and fitness, but she's learning to approach it in a balanced way that doesn't consume her entire identity. We have a long road ahead of us, but I'm hopeful that we can rebuild our relationship and that Jessica can maintain her recovery. This experience has taught me that addiction can take many forms and that sometimes what looks like healthy behavior can actually be destructive when taken to extremes. I'm grateful that Jessica survived her wilderness experience and that she's getting the help she needs. I'm also grateful for the support of our families and the treatment professionals who helped us through this crisis. For anyone dealing with a loved one who might have exercise addiction or any other form of addiction, I encourage you to seek professional help. This isn't something you can fix on your own, and the person needs specialized treatment to recover. Jessica and I are taking things one day at a time, but we're both committed to building a healthier future together. She's learning to live without the compulsive need to constantly optimize her body, and I'm learning to support her recovery while taking care of my own mental health. This whole experience has been a nightmare, but it's also shown me how strong our relationship can be when we face challenges together and get the help we need. Jessica comes home in 3 weeks, and while I'm nervous about the transition, I'm also excited to continue rebuilding our life together with the tools and knowledge we've gained through this difficult experience. Recovery is possible, but it takes time, professional help, and a lot of hard work from everyone involved. I'm proud of Jessica for facing her addiction and doing the work to get better, and I'm grateful that we're getting a second chance at our marriage.